एष देवो विश्वकर्मा महात्मा सदा जनानां हृदये सन्निविष्टः। ॐ सहनाववतु
ॐ सहनाववतु
सहनौ भुनक्तु
सहनौ भुनक्तु
सह वीर्यं करवावहै
सह वीर्यं करवावहै
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु
मा विद्विषावहै
मा विद्विषावहै।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
पुरमेकादशद्वारम्
पुरमेकादशद्वारम्
अजस्यावक्रचेतसः
अजस्यावक्रचेतसः
अनुष्ठाय न शोचति
अनुष्ठाय न शोचति
विमुक्तश्च विमुच्यते
विमुक्तश्च विमुच्यते
एतद्वै तत्।
एतद्वै तत्।
So we discussed yesterday that although the palace of the body belongs to the Atma is hosted by the palace of the body, but the two are entirely different. The changes in the palace, anything happening in the palace, it does not affect the Atma. Atma is Aja, that means birth and death and growth and decay of the body will not touch the Atma. Aja means birthless, that means deathless also. Any change, changeless. Avakra, body may have various limitations, forms, various diseases, everything. Nothing will touch the Atma. Now, this of the Aja, of the Avakracheta, this Puram Ekadashadvaram, that palace with 11 openings to interact with the world, it belongs to him. He is hosted by that. Anushtaya means what kind of Anushtana? We have discussed in great detail that fully one-pointed focus on this truth of our own Atma. Practicing that, one who discovers this reality, he gets relieved from the grief and he gets liberated. Now, from this shloka, it may appear that the Atma is only limited by the body. It is only inside the body. So, immediately they go to the second shloka where they correct that conception. Hamsa shuchishad
Hamsa shuchishad
Vasurantarikshasat
Vasurantarikshasat
Hota vedishad
Hota vedishat
Atithir duronasat
Atithir duronasat
Nishadvarasat
Nrishadvarasat
Ritasat
Ritasat
Vyomasat
Vyomasat
Abjagojaritaja Abjagojaritaja
Abjagojaritaja
Adrijaritam brihat.
Adrijaritam brihat.
Once more. Hamsa. See here this shad sometimes is coming with sha, the murdana sha, and sometimes coming with the sa. But the meaning is same. Sidati means to exist, to be there. Being. Sidati, Saddhatu. Saddhatu means being. It depends on whether it will be Sa or Sha, depends on the previous letter which it follows. So there is no difference in the meaning. Hamsa Shuchishad
Hamsah Shuchishad
Vasurantarikshasat.
Vasurantarikshasat
Hamsa Shuchishad Vasurantarikshasat.
Hamsah Shuchishad Vasurantarikshasat
Hota Vedishadatirduronasat.
Hota Vedishad Atithirduronasat
Hota Vedishadatirduronasat.
Hota Vedishad Atithirduronasat
Rishadvarasad.
Rishadvarasat
Ritasad Vyomasad.
Ritasad Vyomasat
Rishadvarasad Ritasad Vyomasad.
Rishadvarasat Ritasad Vyomasat
Abjagojaritaja.
Abjagojaritaja
Adrijaritam brihat.
Adrijaritam brihat
Abjagojaritaja adrijaritam brihat.
Abjagojaritaja adrijaritam brihat.
Now, these are all, many of the words have two meanings. And these are all, the words are relevant to many, many thousands years ago. These Upanishads, they were written or spoken of thousands and thousands of years ago. How many thousands years ago we cannot say. It is much, much before the Bhagavad Gita, the Mahabharata war, which itself is more than 5,000 years ago minimum, according to the calculations. 5,500 BC, that means 7,000, not 500 or so. And the Upanishads are far, far behind. But these are, we should remember, they are all prehistoric. So undated, they cannot be dated easily. We may do this and that and conclude again after 10 years that will be changed, this and that. But from the literature, we can understand that they are prehistoric. There is no, prehistoric means what? It can be 10,000, it can be 20,000, it can be 30,000 also. We don't know, because the civilization, our civilization is not known when it started. So whenever it was written, the lifestyle, the items they were using, the involvements they were having, it is far different from what we are having now. So if we write now, we will write instead of Duronasa. Durona means in which the Somarasa used to be kept. Durona has got two meanings. That is, one is the Kalasham, another is the house. Both way we can interpret. Now they are referring to the Kalasham in which the Somarasa used to be kept, with which they used to entertain or honor the Atithi, the guest. Now instead of Durona, it might have now become the mobile or the other things, whatever we are using. So many things we are involved in. But the basic truth, it doesn't undergo any change at all. What they are trying to say is that whenever we are thinking of the Atma, we are likely to get trapped that it is in the body. Because the process of discovering the Atma is going inward. The Upanishad itself had said, yesterday also we discussed, in the evening perhaps, that Paranchikhani Vetrinat Swayambhuhu. We have already covered it. So to discover, we have to look within and go within, leaving the body, leaving the mind, leaving the intelligence, leaving the emotional ego and all. Finally, we have to go to the ultimate level. But when we reach the ultimate level, then it is neither inside nor outside. When we get merged in the Atma, then the whole universe is appearing in that Atma. And my body-mind complex is a small speck in the universe. So how can I call it within the body? Rather, the body is within it. The whole universe is within it. The meaning of within, without also loses meaning, because it is not in the objective field. It is the subject. It is only expression is the amness in us. Even saying the I am is wrong, because that the I is coming. It is the amness is the nearest example perhaps. But the nearest, closest example, as in the Vedas they say, that whatever you say about it, Neti neti. In every morning we chant, Yan neti neti bachanair nigama avochuhu. That the Shastras, they speak about this truth in the form of the vachana, the sentences as neti neti, means na iti, na iti. It is very deeply meaningful. Na iti means what? Whatever concept you give about this truth, na iti means it is not that. If you say iti means yes, this is this. If you say, well, Atma is Satchidananda. Now, what is Satchidananda? Is it not a concept in your mind? So, is Atma limited by the mind? We have to transcend mind to reach the Atma. If you say God, whatever God you define, it is a concept of the mind. If you say vacuum, that is nothingness. Nothingness is also a concept of the mind. So it is not limited by anything like that at all. So whatever concept we put forward, the Shastras say na iti. Now leaving everything, brushing off everything, what remains? What remains? The revealer. The I, the revealer, the consciousness alone remains. So the closest expression is by neti neti, means nothing of this objectude. Objectude means whatever we can think of, not only the gross objectude, the subtle objectude within the mind also, within the intelligence also. Everything, they are all limited. But we have to go beyond that. See, whenever you are told that the Bhagavan is there in the idol, you don't have any problem. Some others who are not given to form worship may have problem, but those who are given to form worship, whatever idols are there all over India or outside also, you have no problem in thinking that God is there, and you will prostrate, you will go and do your prayers and everything. But suppose it is told that the God is in your Shatru, about whom you do not like at all, whose face you don't want to see at all. Seeing the face also you become agitated. Such a person also, the God is there and equally there, not more in you and less in him. He is equally present everywhere. Then you will find the real difficulty. But if you can really impose and think about it, then your mind will be freed of the Shatruta you are hosting in your mind. Is it not so? Similarly, actually, you should get rid of the clinging you are having for your own children also. When you really think that it is the God, same God who is everywhere, who is in my Atma, that is in my child also. So why should I particularly get clinging to the child also? So it is to remove all the preference and prejudice, all the ragadvesha we are having towards the world objects because of our interactions. It is to remove the ragadvesha, but not the other differences. If all differences are removed, then you cannot interact. There is nothing to interact in the world. Interactions will go on. But this unity behind diversity, unity under the diversity, that is everything is an expression of the ultimate truth. That will take away from your mind the ragadvesha, the special clinging and special hatred, the preference and prejudice, which are the great hindrance for your realizing the truth. It is not the difference in the world which is the hindrance. Hindrance is your mind's ragadvesha. Once we are free of that ragadvesha, our mind will attain the placidity. Prasadam adhigacchati. The mind will have placidity. Ragadvesha viyukta istu vishayan indriyaischaran atmavashyair vidheyatma prasadam adhigacchati. One who can get rid of the ragadvesha, he interacts with the Vishayas, with the objects, with the same Indriyas, with the same sense organs. But Atma Vashyayir, he is always anchored in his soul. Atma Vashyayir. He is not Vishaya Vashyayihi. Generally we are under the control of the Vishayas. The moment we like, we cling to that. The moment we dislike, we hate it. So we are the slave to the Vishayas. We are slave to the objective situation. The moment something is wrong, we lose our self-centeredness. So we are always slave to the world. So we are under the vash of the Vishaya, of the world. This is the worldliness. But in this case, one who has got rid of the ragadvesha, he is Atmavashyayihi. He is Atmavash. That means He is anchored to his Atma. He is not slave to the Vishayas. Vidheya Atma. He, whatever disciplines he follows, whatever actions he takes, the discipline comes from within, following the Atma, following his core identity, the inner voice. He follows that, according to that he does. Prasadam adhigacchati. He attains prasada. So the whole point in contemplating the universal nature of the God, of the truth, is to get rid of the ragadvesha we are having and get to that uniformity or the samatva where the truth will dawn easily. When it happens, then we find that we have no difficulty in realizing that it is all a play in the consciousness. We play according to this. Body-mind personality will play in the world of body-minds, in the world of objects. But deep inside, we will never get agitated by anything happening. We will never get attracted to anything, repelled by anything. That is why it is said the jnani's behavior you cannot judge. Because if we judge a knower, we will judge according to our own mind, that is according to our own preference and prejudice, and think that the jnani is doing like this. Yesterday, somebody asked in the evening some question, or even the morning also, I said something. Then I later on said that somebody said that, Swamiji, you have spoken about it openly, nobody speaks openly about it. Then I felt that maybe I have done something wrong. It's not wrong, but I am thinking that why do they not speak? Because people will not understand. If we speak about our mind also, when you judge, you will judge according to your concepts. So often it is said, we had once visited Rishikesh to see one Mahatma. So when he went there, he was telling that एक महात्मा को देखना है तो बाहर से नहीं, अंदर से देखना है. If you want to know a Mahatma, you cannot see him from your outer eyes that he is doing this, he is doing that, he is talking this. You have to see him through your own inner eye. And what is the inner eye? As lofty is your level, according to that you will be able to measure him. Beyond that you will not be able to know. So to really know a Mahatma, you have to become a Mahatma. There is no other way. To know fully a Mahatma, you have to rise to that dimension. Only then we will be able to know. So, these universality of the Atma becomes so difficult to realize only because of our own limitations, our own preference and prejudice, our own constrictions of the mind. The whole purpose of spiritual sadhana is to remove those constrictions. And we study the Shastras also to put our mind in all those thoughts so that the mind can get rid of the constrictions, whatever constrictions it is suffering from. So he says, each word I will explain. Hamsaha. Hamsaha means one which moves everywhere, which spreads everywhere. Hanti gacchati sarvam vyapnoti iti hamsaha, which goes everywhere, spreads everywhere, like Paramatma. Paramatma means Atma also, which is everywhere. So Hamsaha represents the Atma, which is spreading everywhere. But Hamsaha is a term for the Surya, for the sun also. Why? Because it is radiating everywhere. It is spread everywhere. Light we see everywhere. But we don't recognize the light. That is the problem. We think Surya is there in the sky. That is the only Surya. Because our constriction. Surya is there. Wherever there is light, there is Surya is present there. So the conceiving of the Surya as the all-pervading vast radiation, that will make our mind also vast. See how the Upanishads work. If you think of the Surya which is radiating in the sky, a minuscule part is coming on the earth. And the whole space is getting the radiation everywhere. If you conceive in your mind about that Surya, your Atma is also like that. So that same term is used for Atma as well as the Surya. Because Atma you will find difficult to conceive of, but Surya is an object about which you can think, and if you are told, yes, the radiation is all over the space, you can imagine that also. But when I talk about the Atma, you find it difficult. कैसे होगा वो तो हम में है, वो बाहर कैसे जा रहा है. बाहर तो नहीं जा रहा, लेकिन बाहर हम में है. इसीलिए हम जो बोलते हैं आत्मा सर्वव्यापी है, आत्मा इज ऑल परवेडिंग. इट इज बिकॉज द ऑल इज इन मी. That I have explained so many times. When we are seeing the external world also, until it appears in my mind, in my consciousness, will I know the external world? ये एकदम साफ हो गया. In Shastras, we have 3 kinds of akashas. One is called Bahyakasha, means external sphere. External akasha means space, external space. What does it mean? The whole outer world we are interacting with. Whatever is inside the body, not that, outside. That is called Bahyakasha, means external space. The other is called Chittakasha. What is that? Whatever is generated in the mind, not only in the dream, in the daytime also. Actually, dream and daytime thought, there is no difference. Suppose when you are listening to me, also sitting here, listening to this talk, your mind might be in the office or at home. Is not the pictures coming in your mind, the home pictures, everything is coming. The moment you become a little inattentive, all those thoughts are playing in your mind. When you fall asleep or doze, what happens? The external signals stop coming. So whatever is in the mind, that becomes your world. समझ में है? So external world is always in your mind. But because the external, when you are awake, the external signals are the strong. So whatever is in the thought, you know that it is in my thought, and that you are not seeing also. The external signals are more prominent. The moment the external signals are fading down, the internal signals become the reality for you. As you see in the dream. Actually, daytime also, those are the signals internally going on, and you are thinking like that. That is called the Chittakasha. So it is, whether it is dream or wakefulness, Chittakasha is always there. Now what I am saying is that although we are calling the external world as Bahyakasha, truly speaking, this Bahyakasha is part of the Chittakasha. Is it not? Because the Bahyakasha we are seeing is also, unless it appears in my mind, we will not see the Bahyakasha. समझ में नहीं आ रहा? So the Chittakasha contains the Bahyakasha. Now, there is something called Chidakasha. Chidakasha means the ultimate Atma, the Chit, the Brahman, the consciousness we are talking about here. Paramatma, Atma, Brahman, all are same. That is the Chidakasha. That word is used often. Chit Akasha. Chit also is used. What is that? This Bahyakasha is part of the Chittakasha. Now this Chittakasha in the mind, when the mind completely sleeps, in deep sleep also, or in unconscious, so-called unawareness, when we are having any accident or unconsciousness, then also we know that this is the consciousness which is revealing the no signal state, and which was revealing the all signal state also. Suppose whatever is appearing in the mind, who is revealing that? In the mind, the thoughts are changing, the dreams are changing, but the consciousness is revealing whatever is happening in Chittakasha. Is it not? Even if nothing happens in Chittakasha, that nothingness, the vacuum, the shunyata is revealed by the Chittakasha. That is why, otherwise you will not know the shunyata. No? समझ में नहीं आ रहा? So that is the Chidakasha. So actually Chittakasha and Bahyakasha, they are also a part, an appearance in the Chidakasha. The whole Chittakasha is an appearance in the Chidakasha. So it is a consciousness in which the whole world appearing to be. So nothing is there where I am not existing. Whatever world we are interacting with, I am existing there, the real I, not the constructed I. So if I am existing in all, it is not that I am going out and getting into anywhere. The whole universe is appearing in me. That is why I am existing in all. क्या difficult हो जा रहा है बहुत? So this we have to understand. So he is saying Hamsaha, by saying Hamsaha, which represents Surya as well as Atma. Hamsaha means which expands and goes everywhere. So he says Hamsaha means this Atma is Hamsaha. It is going everywhere. Actually, it is not going everywhere. Everything is coming within that, is in that. Shuchishad. Shuchishad. Shuchishad means Shuchau Divi Sidati. Shuchau means the dik, whatever is there in the space, the entire space. Sidati means which exists. So because the Surya, we are seeing the light and radiation, we can think of that the radiation is spreading everywhere. But what about the space? Space is not recognizable. Only the objects create the space. Is it not so? Two difference between the position of the two objects is space. But truly speaking, space is everywhere. Wherever we can think of objects, space is there. So this Atma, the entire space is a concept in the mind. It is a concept, it is an appearance in the consciousness. So is not consciousness or the Atma everywhere in this space also and outside also. That they will say later. Antariksha Sat. Antariksha means between the earth and the sun and in between space, interspace. There also. That will they take everything. There also he is existing. Hota. Hota means generally in the Shastras, Hota means Agnihi. Now this is what I was saying. Those days their work was mainly to do Havan. There was not much work. Cultivation they used to do and reading the Shastras and doing Yaga, Jajna, etc. They did not have so much of industry and little things each were given to their work, like that Vedic civilization must have been very satisfied civilization. And each sector of the society must have been doing their own work. So, Hota means the Agni. That, what is the correction here? Those who were clinging to their Yaga, Jajna, etc. In the Karma Kanda, I said, from the Karma Kanda, you are proceeding to the Jnana Kanda. Now the people who were used to the Karma Kanda throughout their life, like Nachiketa's father, who was doing Jajna and Jajna, that too not doing it properly. So those who are doing the Jajna, they will think that Agni is their most important thing. Everything they are offering to the Agni. Agni is their Deva. So they are saying in the Agni, material Agni is not the reality. The Atma is there in the Agni also. You think of the Atma, all-pervading Atma, which is sitting in the Agni also. Another meaning is that Agni, the Hota means one who enjoys. How it has come for Agni? Because whatever you are offering, that is being offered to the Agni, to the fire. So the fire is enjoying all that. So even in our also, whatever the indriyas, whatever the sense organs are bringing in, senses, they are being, as if for the enjoyment of the Atma, they are bringing in all the sensations, everything, all the signals from the world. So, Hota Vedishat. Now, if you think that it is there in the Agni, which is where I am offering, no, don't forget the Vedi where the Agni is seated. It is equally there in the Vedi also. That does not mean that while offering you will not put in the Agni and everything will be thrown around over the Vedis, as people wrongly do during our Vishnu Sahasranama Yajna. They are not attentive that the whole offering should go to the Agni. Now while offering, going to the Agni perfectly attentively also, you should not degrade or devalue the Vedi. Without the Vedi, Agni cannot be there. And Vedi is, Atma is equally present there also, everywhere. Atithihi Durona Sat. Durona means Kalasham and Durona means house also. Now he is present as the Atithi, guest. Now making that the Atma or the ultimate truth or Brahman is present in the guest also. What are we doing? We are honoring the guest. That is why in our Shastras repeatedly the honoring the guest was an important practice of a householder. जो गेस्ट जो आते हैं उनको अच्छी तरह देखभाल करना, उनके लिए सब कुछ समर्पण करना, ये भी है. There are many stories where because an Atithi has come. That is why Yamaraja offered 3 boons to Nachiketa, because a Brahmachari Atithi was waiting there for 3 days and 3 nights. And his palace people, nobody came to look after him or to honor him. The fault lies with the CEO. Yamaraja is the owner of the palace. So although his people did the mistake, he was not there. But if his people do the mistake, then whose is the responsibility, ultimate responsibility? If the ashram people do not honor the guest coming, if they ignore the guest coming, then the responsibility is with Swamiji. Is it not so? Because he has not made up the ashram people properly. That is why they are not honoring the guest. We should always be attentive to whomever we are speaking. The guest might be a beggar also. We may give or do not give something, there might be various reasons. But in our mind, the respect and honor should be there. Suppose we feel that there is some trouble if a person gets in. We will not allow him in. But we will speak in a manner, we will deal with him in a manner that he is no less than God. This is what our Shastras always say. I have written about some stories also about Swamiji, that some beggar had come, a sannyasin kind beggar putting garva, that. We saw that after 1.5 hours we came out again in the veranda, old ashram veranda. We found that on the veranda Swamiji is sitting and the beggar is sitting, and the whole veranda coins are strewn around. What has happened? Swamiji asked him that how much do you get by begging? It was almost afternoon that day. He said something, someday like this, someday like that. What have you got today? I don't know, I will go home and count. Why not you count here now? So both of them sat on the veranda and spread over all the coins, and both of them are counting the coins. हंसते हैं, लेकिन इसमें समझना चाहिए ना, कैसा मनस्थिति होने से ये कर सकते हैं. कोई एक भीख मंगा आए हैं, एक भिखारी आए हैं, उनको कैसे समझने से ये हो सकता है. ये हर दिन नहीं होता है, कुछ भी हो, लेकिन किसी से भी व्यवहार करते हैं, whomever he is behaving with, that honor, the respect is never less. And should not the devotees also learn from Swamiji? So if the devotees misbehave, it is not so much the devotee's fault, but it is the Guru's fault. That is why Yamaraja said that to relieve, it's a mahapapa for me, that a brahmacharin, such a bright, fire-like brahmacharin, is the description in the Upanishad, came and sat here without being taken in, without being served by anybody in my palace. It's a mahapapa, it's a great sin for me. So please accept 3 moons. It is a prayer of Yamaraja to Nachiketa. Nachiketa was not interested in any boon at all. Yamaraja's prayer was, please accept these 3 boons and relieve me of the sin which I have incurred by dishonoring you. That is how the story starts. Through every word, every statement, there is a lot to learn. So that is why I am saying, how can I go fast? It is like this. So, he is in the Atithi, he is in the Kalasham, in the Durona. That means where we are keeping Somarasa for honoring the Atithi, he is there also. Everywhere. Nishad, he is in everybody. People often condemn that our Shastras are casteist and all. Where from they have found, I really don't know. In Bhagavad Gita also, the shlokas should be rejected. They have dishonored the women, dishonored the Shudras and all. Nothing like that. It is Varna, it is nothing to do with the caste. First of all, it is so. And the whole Shastras, everywhere it is to give everybody equal honor and equal respect, because everybody is an expression of the God, the ultimate truth. And to realize that truth, we have to honor everybody equally. That is the crux of our Shastra, the fundamental position of our Shastra. They may do different work. And there also Shastras are very clear. By doing any menial work, nobody becomes downgraded. It is the wrong comes when we look down upon somebody. A Shudra's work, Shudra should do. Why? Because then they may not be that intelligent. The person who is given to physical work and all, they should do seva, manual seva and all. because they are fit for that. But that doesn't mean that you should look down upon him. How can you look down upon him? Everything, the leg, can you cut off the leg thinking that it is not so good as the brain? It is equally important. Every part of the body is important. People unnecessarily not going into the Shastras, they criticize our Shastras. The fundamental point of the Shastras is this. At the same time, Varna is there everywhere. In Prakriti also Varna is there. Can you eat the Dhutura flower? As you are eating the other sag and all, palak you are eating. Can you use the Dhutura flower? The next day you will be dead. That day itself you will be dead. Is not difference in the natural products. Everything is different. A person who is having diabetes, can he eat a lot of sugar or sweet or so? Everywhere there is difference. But that does not mean that he will degrade the sugar. A person who is doing PhD, he will not degrade the primary school, because primary school was important for him to grow. So everywhere the difference is based on the unity, the fundamental unity. And there is no question of dishonoring anything, degrading anything. Even the Shatru should be honored. Why not we learn from the Shastras? When Rama killed Ravana, what did happen? Did he stamp on his face that I have killed this naughty Rakshasa, this scoundrel or anything? His wife was abducted by Ravana. But what did he do? He immediately went to him and asked that, you are a great experienced person. I want your advice. What is the last advice you have to give? He said that whatever is good should be done without delay, and whatever is bad should be deferred. What is the statement? In Sanskrit. Shubhasya shighram ashubhasya kalaharanam. Shubhasya shighram. Whatever is auspicious, don't delay that I will do it tomorrow. Spirituality, if you find it is valuable, don't say that after retirement I will pursue it. Do it now, when you are still young. Start it right away. Shubhasya shighram. And ashubha, whatever ashubha thoughts are coming to your mind, somehow you delay that performance. Somehow you delay. If nature doesn't want it, providence doesn't want it, it will be deferred. You don't have to finally do it. Something will happen. Don't do it immediately out of the heat of your temper or mind. That is So here the important is, Rama was honoring Ravana. While killing also, he had all the honor for the great. Ravana was a great karmakandi. He was doing lot of yaga, jajna, very powerful, many powers he had. So he had honor for that. But at the same time, whatever wrong he was doing, he needed punishment for that. So even a proper king, when he is giving somebody punishment or even capital punishment, that cutting off his head also, a real king of our country, a rishi, a rajarshi, will never have dishonor for that person. He is doing to rule the kingdom. If the criminal is not punished, then the good people will suffer. So the criminal has to be punished and the good people have to be rewarded. That is why he is punishing, not out of hatred or enmity or anything. When Arjuna was given Bhagavad Gita, it is to get rid of the special clinging to his grandfather and the great teacher, so that he can kill them, because he was unable to fight them. So his mind has to be taken to that level of impersonality where he could kill his most beloved grandfather and the most respected teacher from whom he had learnt archery. But at the same time, if his mind could do that, it means that he could fight Duryodhana without any hatred also. Bhima was having still hatred. After killing Duryodhana, he was stamping on his face. Krishna cautioned him, this is not to be done. But Arjuna could get over that. Otherwise he would not have been able to, but not easily, of course, not fully. He was not able to fight properly with Bhishma. Krishna had to interfere twice. So it is all to see Atma or my own self everywhere. That will be possible only when we are able to attain the samatva of the mind. Attain means, samatva means to get rid of the raga, dvesha, the preference and prejudice we are hosting in our mind. Without that, this realization is not possible. Nishat, ritasat, that means it is in Nishat, varasat. Nishat, varasat. Vara means whatever is great, whatever is good. It is in all human being, it is in the great also, whatever is great and good. Ritasat, it is in the yajna. Rita means actually truth, but Rita means yajna also. It is in the yajna also. Ritasat, vyomasat, it is in the space. Everywhere it is there. Then he is coming to whatever is born of. We are saying Atma doesn't have birth or death. But the fact is that whatever is getting born and dying in this universe is only made of things which are getting born and dying. So it is there in everything. Abja means up, jata. Up means water. Abja means whatever is born of water. The fishes and all, whatever is living in the water. Goja. Go means Prithvi. So, Goja means whatever is born of the earth. Everything actually. Especially here, maybe the herbs or so, whatever is born of the earth. Ritaja means whatever is born of the jajna. Like Draupadi we say is born of the jajna. Or we can say karma phala. That we are performing the jajna to get some result. So that is Ritaja. That means it is born of the jajna. It is there also. See, on one hand, the Upanishads are discounting the Karmakanda. They are saying that it is not all. But they are not degrading or denouncing Karmakanda. That when you are doing, the Upanishad itself is saying, when you are performing the jajna, have full faith in whatever the results are spoken of. Karma phala will be must. Whatever results of the jajna is there, it is a definite truth there also. You do it with full faith, full attention, following all the prescriptions. Adrija ritam brihat, mountain. Whatever is born of the mountain, it is there also. Actually, we can go on adding to it anything, whatever we have. Mobile aja. But it should not get born in while the lecture is going on. It can get born outside. Then it's fine. Ritam brihat. At the same time, it is the truth. Truth means Ritam, when we say it is the unmanifest truth. That means the Brahman when it has not become the world. Ritam means the unmanifest truth. It is the unmanifest truth, the ultimate truth. Brihat. Brihat means it is the manifest truth also when it has become the whole world. Brihat means the whole universe. So it is the unmanifest truth as well as the manifest truth. So when we are going to the samadhi at saying that there is the truth, we are rejecting the world. Is it not so? That the Atma is only in samadhi, the Brahman is only in samadhi, or the Paramatma is only in samadhi, and we want to spend the whole life in samadhi. They are correcting, no. In the interactive world also, nothing is other than that. You have to understand, we have been given mind and the sense organs not to remain inactive as in samadhi. Samadhi is only a state which will help us to attain the truth, to know the truth. It is only a state. As long as you are in samadhi, when you are coming out of the samadhi, samadhi is not there. It is still a time-limited attainment. So you have to know what is permanent. So it is, on one hand, it is the unmanifest truth, and it is the manifest truth, the whole world also. Everywhere it is. There is nothing we can imagine without the Atma. Because all these are also concepts. All the concepts are concepts of the mind. The mind is appearing in the Atma. And Atma cannot be described by any word at all. This Vedi Sat also can mean Prithvi. This Vedi can be the Vedi of the Homakunda or can be the world also. But I did not take that because already Prithvi Goja and all that is there. Or you can say Vedi means the substratum of everything. So it is the truth is the substratum of everything, on which everything is appearing to be. Next verse. Urdhvam pranamunnayati
ऊर्ध्वं प्राणमुन्नयति
apanam pratyagasyati
अपानं प्रत्यगस्यति
madhye vamanamasīnam
मध्ये वामनमासीनं
vishve deva upasate
विश्वे देवा उपासते
urdhvam pranamunnayati
ऊर्ध्वं प्राणमुन्नयति
apanam pratyagasyati
अपानं प्रत्यगस्यति
madhye vamanamasīnam
मध्ये वामनमासीनं
vishve deva upasate.
विश्वे देवा उपासते.
See how they change. First it was in the body, which is a Ekadashadvara Puram. They went over to the whole universe. Now again they are coming back to our being. But not the body, but the prana and apana, those are functioning in our lives. Here they have mentioned only prana, apana. Actually we call pancha prana. Now prana means the life force, the vital energy. But because it is extremely closely related to the breath, suppose we stop the oxygen in the breath, then we die. But breath and air and prana, oxygen and prana are not the same. But we use the prana for breath also. Now, when it enters the breath enters the body, it has 5 aspects of it. Prana, apana, udana, samana, vyana. They are the life forces doing their activities in various parts, of which here the important is prana, which goes upward, and the apana, which goes downward. All the excretions are important to have the apana. Without the apana being powerful, we will have constipation and other problems. That is throwing out from the lower portion of the body. Similarly, if the prana is not powerful, then we will have all the lung problem and everything. The upward movement will not be there. Now, constantly these two are the most important, which are always functioning, that the prana movement in the upward sector and the apana movement in the lower sector. But all these are done by the breathing. When the breathing comes, power is going up, power is going down. In between, that is the prana going upward and the apana going downward. In between, they are saying it is the vamanamasinam. Vamanam means one who is respectable, shraddheya. This vamana refers to the Atma also. Angushtamatram purushaha. Earlier we have studied. It is like the thumb. Actually, these are figurative expressions which we feel also like that. Suppose we are meditating, we are feeling the amness. You will feel here, is it not so? Generally, the feeling will be here, and it is not in the legs and all that. Although the feeling of the Atma will be in the entire body, that is an advanced experience, but generally we are talking about it is here. Now, that is why they say that it is as if the Atma is seated in the heart and it is very small, like Angushtamatram, like the thumb. But here there is one more important point, that this Atma can be experienced or detected in all junctions. That is, a thought is coming, it is going, another thought is coming. In between the two thoughts, what is the state? The thought has gone, another thought has come. So there is a fraction of a second when no thought state is there. What is the meaning of no thought? No, it is, but what is the consciousness doing? If a thought has come, this consciousness is revealing this thought. Is it not so? Suppose this is a mother's thought. The consciousness is revealing mother's thought. Next moment, the thought of CIRD comes. So the consciousness is revealing CIRD. In between, neither mother nor CIRD. So what will the consciousness reveal? There is nothing to reveal. So if we can just locate that point, that is why I say that the realization depends on attention. We are missing that attention. If we can be so attentive as to locate it right there, this is what it is. You know, there are many things we don't think about. In Bengal, we have the Ashtaprahara Harinama Sankirtanam. For 7 days, all 24 hours, continuously for 7 days, 7 into 24, the Harinama Sankirtana will go on. A team will be there, one team will sleep, another team will come back, like that. But those who are listening, that constantly Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, this listening, constant listening has the effect of filling your mind, taking away all the thoughts from there. Mind will be packed with that. After that, if you participate in that, for many days you will only hear the Harinama Sankirtana, other thoughts will not be there. And they have a technique. What they will do, they will start from a very low pace. Slow they will start. Then they will build up, go to the crescendo. Then finally it will very fast. And the khola, kartala and all that, dholak and all, they will also go very fast bit. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, very fast. Now what happens is that when it goes fast, you will automatically find that your focus is, you are very much focused on that. जब स्लो हो रहा है ना, उतना फोकस नहीं होता है. जब बिल्डअप हो रहा है तो सब कोई, जो कोई सो रहा था वो भी सुनना फोकस्ड हो जाते हैं. So they become focused. Then that focus is taken to a point, very sharp, high scale, high speed, high beat and all. So your focus becomes very sharp. Then suddenly they will stop. Suddenly, no sound. What will happen? You will find many of them have that, what do you call it? Bhar bolte hain Bengali mein, jo trance. वो ट्रांस मीन्स नॉट साइलेंट ट्रांस, बट कृष्ण दर्शन हो रहा है उनको. कोई रोना शुरू करेंगे, शेडिंग हो रहा, कोई आनंद से जंप करना शुरू करेंगे, सब कुछ उस समय होता है जनरली. मतलब सबको नहीं, एक हो गया तो काफ़ी है, उनमें अगर एक का हो गया तो वो भी काफ़ी है, लेकिन होता है 7 दिन में काफ़ी. वाई? बिकॉज द माइंड had taken away all other thoughts. Everything was forgotten. You had forgotten yourself also. That is very important. The mind was focused on the sound. So you forgot yourself also. And it was taken to that peak, and suddenly that sound was taken away. What will remain? The revealer alone will remain. It was revealing the sound. And it was only revealing the sound. Normally it is revealing hundreds of items. So there is no question of focus. When the divergent mind, which is always holding to plural infinite objects, it becomes focused on one, and then when it is acutely focused, you take away the one, then what remains is the revealer alone. So the revealer is revealed. That revealer reveals itself. But because of our concept, we have not pursued the Atma sadhana or Vedantic sadhana. The people who sing the Harinama Sankirtana, they have focus on Krishna only. So Krishna appears before them. That means the whole mind takes the form of Krishna. This is called a kind of a savikalpa samadhi. सचमुच के उनके कृष्ण दर्शन होता है, लेकिन वो कृष्ण अपने ही मन में है, दूसरों का नहीं हो रहा है. The person, his mind takes the form of Krishna. कृष्ण दर्शन ऐसा नहीं है कि हम है और कृष्ण भी सामने उत्पन्न हुए हैं. वो कृष्ण दर्शन नहीं है. जब कृष्ण छोड़ के और कुछ भी नहीं रहेगा, the whole consciousness will take the form of the Krishna. Then it is called the vision, the Krishna Darshana. So because of their clinging to the form of Krishna or Radha or whatever, they have that form generated at that time. It is called Savikalpa Samadhi or the Darshana of a formed worship. So it is that catching the revealer. So if you can catch it, those who are doing the pranayama, for them it is given that while doing the pranayama, that is pranasya ayama, that means disciplining the prana. Disciplining the prana doesn't mean disciplining the breath. It is the vital force disciplining. But to do that, you are taking breath as a prop. With the breath, you are disciplining the prana. So when it is neither this way nor that way, the breath stops. That is why at that point they have a samadhi. It is not the nirvikalpa samadhi, it is a jada samadhi or some nishtala samadhi. That is, at that time the breath stops and they can detect at that moment. So Vamanam is sitting there. So they get the touch of the Vamana, they get fused in the Vamana, they become the Vamana. Vishve Deva Upasate. Here Vishve means Sarve. Actually Vishwa word has got two. One is Punlinga, one is Napumsakalinga. Napumsakalinga, it means Sarva. So here it is Sarve Deva Upasate. So you can think of the Brahman or the ultimate truth as Vamanam, who is worshipped by all the brilliant powers. Deva means, Deva has come from Div Dhatu. Div means brilliance. Surya is a Deva because Surya has his own brilliance. But the ultimate Deva, Devadi Deva, Mahadeva, the ultimate Deva is our own consciousness, because Surya also has to be revealed by the consciousness. Any Deva, any power has to be revealed by the consciousness. So the Supreme Deva is our consciousness who reveals everything. Now Sarve Deva Upasate means you can think of this consciousness as being worshipped by all the luminous powers, or actually the Devas are our own Indriyas, our own sense organs. Because the sense organs are ruling our world. As I said, that the world we are interacting with is the world appearing in our consciousness, in our mind. Is it not so? So who is creating this world? Is not our five Indriyas. This, suppose the same world, if I have say 7 Indriyas or 3 Indriyas, will not the world we are seeing be different? For a blind who is from birth, who is blind, they don't have the vision part of the world. They only have the other signals. Suppose you develop some new Indriyas, new sense organs, electrical Indriya or magnetic Indriya, then the world will be different. Wherever electrical signals, according to that, you will have something other. So, it is really speaking the 5 sense organs who are master of our world, who are creating the world. They are the Devas for us. And as if bringing in all the sense perceptions, they are just like we worship our Devas with the food. Not the Devas like, but what we like. Is it not so? वो राजस्थान में एक भोग है और बंगाल में दूसरा भोग चढ़ता है. क्यों? भगवान दूसरा है, अलग अलग है क्या? वो जो पूजा जो करते हैं वो अपने के अनुसार चूज करते हैं. जो अपना पसंद है वही भगवान को देंगे. तो here also the Devas, the sense organs, they are collecting all their own information. Some is bringing light, some vision, some is bringing sound, some is bringing taste, and with that they are worshipping the Vamana. You see the beautiful allegory there. Sarve Deva Upasate. And as if Vamana is enjoying all that. Vamana is absolutely like Jagannatha. Doesn't have hands, doesn't have legs. Even the eyes are not looking anywhere. Kevali Bhava, we say. Next. Asya Visram Samanasya
Asya visram samanasya
Sharirasthasya Dehinaha
sharirasthasya dehinaha
Dehad Vimuchyamanasya
dehad vimuchyamanasya
Kimatra Parishishyate
kimatra parishishyate
Etadvaitat
etadvaitat
Asya Visram Samanasya
asya visram samanasya
Sharirasthasya Dehinaha
sharirasthasya dehinaha
Dehad Vimuchyamanasya
dehad vimuchyamanasya
Kimatra Parishishyate
kimatra parishishyate
Etadvaitat.
etadvaitat.
See, again he is reminding, this is Nachiketa, oh Nachiketa, this is the truth you have asked for. This is what you have asked for. That is Nachiketa's question. What happens when the body falls? Now, this sloka also has got two meanings. Asya means he is referring to the Atma. Vishramsamanasya. Vishramsamanasya means, actually he has himself explained, Dehad Vimuchyamanasya. That means which is slipping off, falling off. Vishramsamanasya means, here it is Shashti. Vishramsamana means that which slips off. Always slipping off. And Manasya means of him, because they are talking about the Atma, which is always slipping from the Deha. And Dehat Vimuchya Manasya also means which is always coming out of the Deha. So, Sharirasthasya, at the same time it is seated in the Sharira. See, the word Sharira means seat of experience. Whatever experiences are coming, the seat of experience is called Sharira. So people have lot of misunderstanding about Sukshma Sharira, Karana Sharira. That Sthula Sharira is whatever wakeful experiences we are having, our wakeful in sense organs, that is called Sthula Sharira there. Because it is the seat of experience when we are awake. Sukshma Sharira is the mind, intelligence, etc. Because you cannot say that whatever thoughts and experiences in the mind, are they not experiences? Suppose you feel the mind has become purified. It is experiential. That is why we always say that the experiential Vedanta, that is, Vedanta is not a theory. It is not a philosophy. It is an experiential sadhana. How it is experiential? Not always having vibration and all that. That is not the meaning here. Your mind expanding, is it not your experience? You have to experience that my mind was constricted, it has expanded. My mind was always having dukkha, now it is sukha is there. It is my own mind experience. Intelligence was not working, now it is working. So this is all our sukshma experiences of the mind, intelligence, everything. So Sharira is the seat of experience. Now, in that seat of experience, this Atma is seated. Or rather, the seat of experience is actually fired by the Atma. Without that, nothing will be there. But it is when it is coming out, one meaning is that when it is leaving the body, that is the religious concept of the Atma is leaving the body. Actually, Atma doesn't go anywhere at all. But when you think of the Jiva, that small enlivening the body, when the Jiva has come out, there is nothing in the body falls. So, Kimatra Parishishyate, whatever is there in the left in the body. So that is the Atma, Nachiketa, you have asked for. But there is another meaning that when you are trying to locate the Atma, you will not be able to locate because you will find that, oh, it is not the Sharira. So body. The Atma is not the body. Atma is the onlooker, it is the witness of the body. So it has slipped out of the body. Atma is not the mind. It has slipped out of the mind. The mind is some object before the Atma. It is not the intelligence. The intelligence also, it is revealing, it is observing, it is witnessing. So intelligence, it has slipped out of the intelligence. Earlier all they were part of the I. Now the I has gone out of it. Like that, if you can take away the whole thing from the body, mind, personality, yadi deham prathak kritva chitivishramya tishtasi adunaiva sukhi shanto bandhamukto vavishyati. So it is the process of disidentifying the Atma from the body to know its reality. Initially, we disidentify. When in Samadhi also the body no longer, the body experience is not there, mind experience is not there. That it will come. Later on shloka is there. When all the organs of the body, when the mind, the intelligence, everything is keeping silent, not active, but they are not sleeping. Tamahu paramam gatim. That is the highest state. Because then the Atma reveals itself. So when this Atma we take out of the bodily association, then what remains in the body? It is nothing. Only in association with the Atma it is functioning. Otherwise, as a robo, it has no identity at all. Nothing is there. Kimatra parishishyate. What is remaining there? Nothing. That means the whole importance is on the Atma, which is enlivening, which is making the body a living being, which reveals the whole world. Etad Vaitat. So, do you have to die to know Nachiketa? No. You can disengage the Atma from the body. You can see that reality of the Atma. That is the same thing which happens when the body falls. The body, there is nothing. Everything is in the Atma. And whatever the Atma is now, the Atma is same because never moves. It doesn't go anywhere. Whatever is there in this loka is there in the other loka also. For the Atma, there is no loka difference. It is always everywhere the same. No change takes place there. The lokas are all appearing in that. He will go into further discussion about the religious concept of bodily punarjanma and all. See, this concept, one more I will do and then. Na pranena na panena
न प्राणेन नापानेन
matyo jivati kaschana.
मर्त्यो जीवति कश्चन
Na pranena na panena
न प्राणेन नापानेन
matyo jivati kaschana.
मर्त्यो जीवति कश्चन
Itarena tu jivanti
इतरेण तु जीवन्ति
yasminnetavupashritau
यस्मिन्नेतावुपाश्रितौ
na pranena na panena
न प्राणेन नापानेन
matyo jivati kaschana.
मर्त्यो जीवति कश्चन
Itarena tu jivanti
इतरेण तु जीवन्ति
yasminnetavupashritau.
यस्मिन्नेतावुपाश्रितौ
It is yasmin etau upashritau. Etau upashritau becomes etavupashritau. Yasmin etau upashritau. These are dvivachanam. That etau upashritau, they are referring to two. Because prana and apana, both the two. Now earlier he said that the Vamana or the Atma, it is making the 5 pranas work. Particularly it is throwing the prana upward and throwing the apana downward. That is the whole functioning of the body. This Vamana is conducting, sitting in the center. It is throwing the prana upward and throwing the apana downward. Now he said that we all feel that the prana is that which is running the whole body. He says, na pranena, na apanena matto jivati kashchana. This prana, vital energy going up and vital energy going down, martyaha means they are reminding us that our body is mortal. We are immortal. But as long as we are identifying with the body, dehatma buddhi, that is the deha or the body we consider to be I, we become matyaha, we become mortal. So even the mortal man does not live by the prana and apana. They are living by something else who is conducting the prana and apana, by whose force the prana apana are running. So even if we operate the prana and apana in a robo, it will not become a living. It will not know what it is doing. The greatest difference is we know what we are doing or not doing or whatever we are, but the computer doesn't know what it is doing. So, itarena tu jivanti. Itarena means something else than prana and apana. It is living with something else. Something else is responsible for the life, not the prana and apana. Prana and apana are the functions, changeful functions. And not only that, something else, because of something else the life is there. What is that? Yasmin etau upashritau, whom this prana and apana are worshipping. Etau upashritau, not only worshipping, they are ashrita. Ashrita means who have taken refuge. That means our refuge is not in the prana and apana or the pancha prana. Our refuge If we say that the prana is my life force, that is the ultimate. He says, no, the prana and apana have taken refuge in the soul, in the Atma. That is the main thing. That soul is the focus. So, etadvaitat. It is not there. He would have said that etadvaitat. This is what Nachiketa you are wanting to know. See, we can think of quite a few illustrations, because I understand it becomes difficult for you to, because we are not used to conceptualize abstract things. So you start yawning. The one example is, you try to think again and again. Yesterday I spoke about the waves. That what we are seeing, the reflection of the sun or the moon, the sun becomes many when the waves are many. But each wave, is it not belonging to the water? And each wave is time limited, space limited, very short lived, coming, going. Another wave is coming up and going down. Like that, constantly millions of waves are coming up and going down, and each is reflecting the sun. And with the wave, as the wave moves, the sun appears to be half, 3/4, or moving with that. But really speaking, anything happens to the sun. That is exactly with our Atma. With the changes in body, mind, personality, particularly the mind inside, we think that the soul has become sorry, that I have become sorry, I have become happy, I am enjoying this, I am enjoying that. This I, when it is dissociated, it becomes the witness of the mind. Then the mind will undergo the suffering, the mind will undergo the happiness, but that mind will never get depressed, never get elated. Because that I-ness, that ego is not fixed to that at that point. It is the ego which is getting depressed and elated. The ego part, if you take away, it will become like a phenomena. I call it phenomenological vision. When many leaves are drying, it is falling, the plant doesn't seem to be affected at all. Every day, so many leaves are growing, so many leaves are falling. The plant seems to be always happy with it. But why we human beings are, whenever anybody dies, we create so much clamor about it? Without death, there cannot be birth. The whole universe is running on creation and destruction together. Millions of cells are getting born, millions of cells are dying in our own body in a day. Everywhere there is birth and death. It is our partial vision which makes us cling to the life because of our attraction and repulsion, and disown death. We are not able to embrace death with equal respect. Rabindranath has written that Radha is saying that, oh death, you are like my Madhava. So he is going to death, going to commit suicide out of viraha, but saying that death is like my Krishna. So the whole description is like that. Madhava, what is that? Maranare tuhu mama shyama saman. Maranare tuhu mama shyama saman. And the whole song is like that, describing the death. Only at the end, the Kavi is saying that Bhanai Radha, Bhanai Bhanu Bhane Ai Radha Chiye Chiye Chanchala Chitta Tuhari Jeevana Ballabha Marana Adhikato. Marana Adhikato Avatuhu Dekha Vichari. That, oh Radha, the Bhanu means the Bhanu Simha, the author, the poet. The poet is saying that, oh Radha, she has already described the Marana as Shyama. But Shyama is your Jeevana Ballabha. He is greater than the death also. Will you not do the proper vichara? Will you commit suicide? Or will you wait for your Jeevana Ballabha? So, the question is here, I wanted to say that Maranare Tuhumama Shyama Saman, that death also is equally acceptable to us. It is our partial vision, it is our constricted vision that it creates the fear of death. Otherwise, the fear of death will not be there. Now, so it is just like the waves reflecting infinite number of suns, and the sun or the moon becomes one when there is no wave. But if I associate myself with the lake, with the water, and not with each small wave, then what happens? In me, so many bodies are coming, so many bodies are dying. Each body is behaving in its own manner. But I, the sea or the water, I am always there. And when the sun, that is looking to the single reflection of the sun, that reflection also, it is actually a reflection only. Suppose the sun is reflected in a mirror. It is with that reflected beam from the mirror we are seeing the world. Just as you suppose a sun is falling on a mirror, you turn the mirror and move it. With the reflected beam, will you not see the world? So with the reflected beam of the consciousness or the ultimate consciousness, we are seeing the world. That is, the reflected beam is the jiva. Now, suppose the reflected beam thinks that I am originating from the mirror. Is it right or not? It is not right. If the reflected beam starts thinking that this is from the mirror, that is what we are thinking, that the Atma is in the body and I am with that Atma. I don't think of the sun which is reflecting in our consciousness, we call it Chidabhasa, the reflection. In our being, the reflection taking place. With the reflection we are seeing, but once we know that it is the reflection of the sun and what is that sun, then we are out of the delusion. It is only so many mirrors are reflecting the same sun. When the mirror breaks, nothing happens to the sun. To know that what we do, we turn the reflected beam. That is, whatever is coming out of as our awareness, wakeful awareness, we try to, as with that light we are seeing everything, we try to see the self also with that. That is what we start our sadhana. Is it not so? That is what is meant by covering avritta chakshuhu amritatvam icchan pratyagatmanam aikshata. The turning the mirror inside, that is, our focus is always seeing an external world. When we are sure that the external world is not going to fulfill me, we try to turn the mirror inward. And turn the mirror inward means what? Turning the mirror towards the sun, original sun. Is it not so? To see the sun with the reflected light, is it possible? When it is possible, but when you turn, the reflected beam gets merged in the original beam. It becomes the original beam. That is exactly what happens in Samadhi. That our reflected beam, we are turning. When it is actually turned towards the sun, there is no reflected beam. So world you no longer see. There is no world but the sun alone. This is what happens. Now, the same thing, suppose this electricity, it is showing up as fan, as the AC, wind, as the light, this light, that light, or if you have washing machine, everywhere electricity is functioning in your house. Is it not so? So, the manifestation of the electricity is as all these things, as heat, as light, as motion. But have you seen electricity? So the same Atma is functioning as prana, apana, vyana, everything. As the several indriyas, whole world, it is functioning as that. But that Atma, which is actually becoming all these things, is missed. It is not seen. Actually, you can see electricity is a model. It is our inference. Nobody has seen electricity. Only the effect of the electricity is felt. What it is actually, there is still doubt about it. Even about the light, light is a model. Have you seen light? Nobody has seen light. When the light falls on the object and light is scattered by the object, we see the object. If you see light, then when you go to the space would not have been dark. You have seen the photographs of space in the spaceship. The ship is bright in sun, but the space is dark against a dark background. Now sunlight is going everywhere. But why does the space looks dark? Sunlight is passing through that. If you can see the sun's rays, then the space will be looking bright. Only when the sun falls on the spaceship, the spaceship becomes bright and it reflects the sunlight. Any graha, any object, planet or anything that is reflecting the light, and then you see the light there. Actually, light we never see. We see only the object. Light is only an inference. Light is also an inference, not only God. Model. And there is a parallel model where it is said that there is no light at all propagating like this. It is action at a distance. When something happens here, the object also something happens. That is also acceptable. It's a question of which model works better. Okay. There are other examples also which will help you in this. Suppose the radio waves, from the station, Delhi station, the waves are coming. We don't see the electromagnetic waves. When it is producing when you tune your radio, it is producing music or news or something. Is it not so? Now, when a small circuit in the radio breaks, the music is gone, everything is gone. Has anything happened to the radio waves which is propagating in the atmosphere? So it is just like that. When our body is having a particular harmony, it is revealing the Atma. It is through an awareness. That Atmic revelation through the body is the Jiva. That is called the Jiva, not Atma. Atma is all pervading. The revelation of the Atma, the expression of the Atma through the body is the Jiva expression. And it displays all the functions of the body. A small circuit here, much complicated than the radio. Any time it can break, only we forget that it can break. Otherwise, perhaps we would not live at all. Next moment it can simply break, you will fall dead. Small circuit. So when it breaks, does anything happen to the Atma? Nothing happens to the Atma. It remains. Only the Atma, manifestation of the Atma through the body-mind personality, the individuality, that stops. So these examples will help you to conceive of the truth. So here he says, na pranena na apanena matyo jivati kaschana itarena tu jivanti. It is not by the prana or apana that the mortal man is living. It is living by something else. What is that else? Etau upashritau, in which both the prana and apana have taken refuge. That is the etadvaitad. That is what, Nachiketa, is your Atma. When the body is there, this is the Atma. When the body falls, then also that remains the same. Prana, apana vanish. They are no more there when the body falls. Hantata idam pravakshyami.
Hantata idam pravakshyami.
Guhyam brahma sanatanam.
Guhyam brahma sanatanam.
Yatha cha maranam prapya.
Yatha cha maranam prapya.
Atma bhavati Gautama.
Atma bhavati Gautama.
Hantata idam pravakshyami.
Hantata idam pravakshyami.
Guhyam brahma sanatanam.
Guhyam brahma sanatanam.
Yatha cha maranam prapya.
Yatha cha maranam prapya.
Atma bhavati Gautama.
Atma bhavati Gautama.
Now I will tell you the technique. See, where he is going to the religious concept of Atma, we should be able to immediately identify. Unnecessarily we should not get into confusion. Because the religion, our Shastras don't want to denounce. They don't say that the Punarjanma denouncement and all, because they are there for the mass. That is to discipline the whole society. And they will never, and nobody can say that such an Atma is not there. It is not the Atma we are discussing in spirituality. Because Atma is one universal, unmoving, unchanging, that Vivarta Srishti source which never undergoes any change. While producing the whole universe also, it does not undergo any change. This is what our Atma is. Now, if Atma doesn't undergo any change, here he is saying, Yathacha maranam prapya Atma bhavati Gautama. O Gautama, O Nachiketa, Yatha Atma maranam prapya Atma yatha bhavati. That I will tell you, after death, what happens to the Atma. Atma yatha bhavati. Now, Atma ke liye to koi bhavati. There is no question of becoming anything for the Atma at all. But he is saying that what happens to the Atma after the fall of the body, after death. So, definitely it is referring to the Punarjanma. Now, how it happens and what it happens, it is all in the objective level. Anything that moves, the Atma we are speaking about, if it undergoes Punarjanma, Marana, etc., it is in the ken of objectude. Anything that has birth, death is in the ken of the objectude. And it is for science to one day discover that whether such a subtle thing exists or not. It is not the Atma of our spirituality. But keeping to that idea, because they have to bring us up step by step. And in that we should not get confused at all. Because we have to see the Anubodha Shastra, what is that Atma they are referring to? Na jayate, na mriyate va kadachit, everywhere they are saying. So where is the question of Atma maranam prapya? So naturally they are referring here to the religious concept. And there also what happens when a person dies. See, all religious concepts, it can neither be proven nor can be disproven. Suppose heaven, hell, etc. Has anybody proven that there is heaven, there is hell? Nobody from heaven has called that, come and see, here I am and nothing. Similarly, can you disprove that there is no heaven, can you say? You cannot. Might be. Who knows? You cannot disprove. There are so many things we don't know about. There is antimatter world also perhaps. We don't know. And now scientists start saying that it is like that. But it is not confirmed fully, of course. But like that there could be so many things. So the Vedas have taken to these concepts for bridling the society and use the concepts which are neither provable nor disprovable. So nobody can counter them also. Nobody can denounce them also. Shankaracharya says that Svargadau, that means Svarga, Naraka, etc., Punarjanma. Svargadau anubhava anarudhe shanka syat astiva navaiti. Whichever is non-experiential, anubhava anarudha means non-experiential. About that, always there will be doubt, shanka syat, asti va navaiti, whether it is there or it is not there. Anubhava arudha tu jnana phalam. But whatever is discussed in the Upanishads as experiential, that is the experience of the Atma, the corresponding growth to the sadhana, growth of the mind, everything is experiential. So the jnana phala, that by knowledge, what is happening? All our dross, all our sufferings, all our bondages are completely getting burnt off. Jnanagni sarvakarmani bhasmasat kurute Arjuna. Everything is getting burnt off. That is fully experiential. Vairagya is fully experiential. The Shuddhata, Shuchitva, everything is fully experiential. So Anubhava Arudha to Jnana Phalam. Therefore, for a seeker of truth, they should only take to whatever is Anubhava Arudha and not Anubhava Anarudha. Whatever is experiential, that is enough to fulfill our life. We need not bother about whatever is non-experiential, conjecturing, surmising about them. They will come, they will go. We don't have to bother about it.